story behind the Ballerina Farm social media accounts have been exposed recently, and it's truly so sad. An article was published not too long ago that now has people believing that this creator's husband is extremely controlling, and that his wife Hannah has had to give a lot of her dreams up in order to stay home, raise the kids, and tend to their farm. This is Hannah Nealman, and she runs the social media page Ballerina Farm. She has 9 million followers on Instagram, 8 million on TikTok, and 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Hannah has been coined a trad wife, which has been the viral label given to social media stars whose content resembles this traditional gender role of a wife, homemaker, and stay-at-home mom. The man goes outside the house, works, and provides for the family while the woman stays home. And recently, a lot of trad wives online have been getting a lot of backlash for the simple fact that they are seemingly promoting a time when women were not seen as equals, solely existing to their husbands, and people have been critical over the fact that these trad wives seem to romanticize their way of life to those online, making it look so easy to run a household, seemingly never showing or discussing the struggles, creating this unrealistic family fantasy. But recently, an article from The Times was released that lifted the veil on Hannah and her family, insinuating that things are not as cookie cutter as they seem in her videos. The author of the article met Hannah and her husband Daniel for an interview on their farm in Utah, seeing firsthand how they live their life, and heard them tell the story of how they got to where they are today. Though the article might not be what the family hoped, as it doesn't paint Daniel in a good light, and as a result, the family has been a viral topic. Before we get into the specifics of what was said, I want to note that Hannah has come out to say that she doesn't agree with those who have labeled her a trad wife. She hasn't asked for help or said that she regrets things in her life, but people have certainly come out of reading what's been reported feeling sad for her, even if she doesn't want them to. Megan, the journalist who published the viral article in The Times, noted that she went to their farm to interview Hannah, but says it was a little harder than that, noting that it was sometimes hard to ask her questions or get a direct answer from her without her being interrupted or her deferring to Daniel. The article starts off detailing how Hannah, a Mormon mom, had been crowned Miss American last year, just 12 days after giving birth to her 8th child, noting that this was one of the times that she had really exploded online. Times reported, "Was this the ultimate act of empowerment, Nealman doing what she wanted, or the ultimate demonstration of oppression? Her tender body encased in spiky sequins." Nealman, whether she liked it or not, was declared leader of a new and controversial group of the internet, the Trad Wives. Several moments from the interview have gone viral as key points people have felt really have them feeling bad for Hannah. In the interview, Hannah revealed that this was not in fact what she always wanted in life, and that her goal was New York City, and that at the age of 17, she left home and headed for the big city to be a ballerina, noting that she was a good ballerina, a quote that has really stuck with people recently. Hannah noted that she knew when she started having kids that her life would change, but throughout the article, it seems that all that happened way sooner than she had anticipated because of Daniel. Hannah had gone to Juilliard, and they noted that she paid for tuition by competing in scholarship pageants that offered academic scholarships or sometimes tuition money to winners. She ended up being the first Juilliard undergraduate to be pregnant in modern history, less than a year after Daniel set up their first date. In the interview, they talked about how Daniel wanted to date her from the moment that he saw her, but she didn't want that at the time. She also didn't want to get married so soon into dating someone, but that also changed because of Daniel. Daniel comes from a billionaire family. His dad is the founder of a number of airlines, including JetBlue. It gave him the connection to be able to get on the same flight and sit right next to Hannah after she had told him that she was going on a trip. He pulled a couple strings to get on the same flight and sit in the same row as her, and made that their first date. Daniel didn't want to wait to get married like Hannah wanted to, and they actually got engaged after a month. And 2 months later, they were married. 3 months later, she was pregnant. The Times wrote, "Our first few years of marriage were really hard. We sacrificed a lot," she says. "But we did have this vision, this dream," and Daniel interrupts, "We still do." "What kind of sacrifices?" I asked her. "Well, I gave up dance, which was hard. You give up a piece of yourself," and Daniel gave up his career ambitions. "I look out at the vastness and don't totally agree. Daniel wanted to live in the great western wild, so they did. He wanted to farm, so they do. He likes date night once a week, so they go. They have a babysitter on those evenings. He didn't want nannies in the house, so there aren't any. The only space earmarked to be Nealman's own, a small barn she wanted to convert into a ballet studio, ended up becoming the kids' schoolroom." This was one of the other viral parts from the article, as people really just felt for Hannah, wondering with all the money that they have, why she couldn't still have a ballet studio. People said she was almost like this ballerina stuck in the jewelry box, as she sometimes does still post videos dancing, which people find heartbreaking now, as she clearly still loves it but had to give it up. People had started going through her old content following the article's release, analyzing the family. Some recalled a time where Hannah had really wanted to go on a trip to Greece for her birthday, which should be a small ask for someone whose father was the founder of JetBlue and multiple major airlines. But instead, she received an apron.
Okay, that's my birthday present from Daniel. Hoping they have tickets to Greece.
Where's it from?
I don't know, the boys took it off.
I took it off.
It's from Ukraine.
So, plane tickets? Ooh, a hat I can wear in Greece.
That's not a hat.
It's not.
Oh, my egg apron!
He did it.
Great, I can gather eggs.
So
Yeah,
cute. It's really cute. It's a
Yeah.
cute one.
That's the best. You're welcome.
Thanks, honey.
Not for a long time.
The other thing I've seen go around is clips from her Instagram story last Halloween when they had taken a family trip to New York and Hannah was beaming, walking around the city, only for them to end up back on a farm later in the trip outside of the city.
Okay, so Mabel and I are walking to go meet up with one of my ballet teachers. And then today, I'm also gonna go watch some classes at Juilliard. The kids are already at the park, so I'm meeting them there. Woo woo! Just got a nice brisk New York pace going on. Now we are trick-or-treating with the kids in New York City. It is so fun. Okay, so we still have a couple days left in New York. We decided to take a drive upstate and find like a farmhouse we could rent out. So we found a farm Airbnb, and it's so beautiful. I'm gonna show you the videos.
Back to the article though, one of the moments people had felt was making them uneasy was when she had talked about giving birth to her 8 children, noting that she had only gotten an epidural once, which just so happened to be the same time that Daniel wasn't with her for a birth. The Times published, she also gave birth to them without pain relief. None at all? She shakes her head. Why? I don't know, I just have never loved taking it. She stops herself, except with Martha. I was 2 weeks overdue and she was 10 pounds and Daniel wasn't with me. She lowers her voice. Daniel is currently out of the room taking a phone call. So I got an epidural and it was an amazing experience. Where was Daniel that day? It was shipping day for the meat boxes and he was manning the crew. But the epidural was kind of great. She pauses and smiles. It was kind of great. So though in this article, Hannah is not saying like, I need help, my husband's controlling my life, like he sucks. The way that this article was written was definitely making it feel like there's something a little off here with the way that they really emphasized like he was out of the room when she was talking about this, as if to insinuate like he was maybe a reason why she wasn't, even though that's not what she was saying. But of course, that's definitely how it was coming off. And so people online have really started to feel some type of way about Daniel as they've read this article. And truly, unlike her content online where everything seems picture perfect, they had revealed in the article that though it might seem like she can do it all, she gets ill from exhaustion. They wrote, they have a cleaner but no childcare. Neilman does all the food shopping, kids in tow, and cooks from scratch. They don't do ready meals. Despite the more traditional aspects of their relationship, Daniel is a hands-on father, taking the kids out to the farm and doing all the laundry. The children appear to look after each other quite well too. There are so many that they seem to have become an almost self-sustaining entity. Still, Daniel says Neilman sometimes gets so ill from exhaustion that she can't get out of bed for a week. And the journalist Megan wasn't holding back on thoughts surrounding this interview, writing towards the end, I can't, it seems, get an answer out of Neilman without her being corrected, interrupted, or answered for by either her husband or a child. Usually I am doing battle with steely Hollywood publicists. Today, I'm up against an army of toddlers who want their mom and a husband who thinks he knows better. The articles, like I mentioned, led to a ton of conversations, and now Hannah's comment section has people saying, wishing you can be free soon. They could never make me like you, Daniel. Blink twice if you need help. Run, sis, run to Greece and make your own ballerina studio. Despite what people have interpreted from the article about it feeling like Daniel runs this whole family, in the interview, the two of them were asked, "Is the husband the head of household here?" "No," Daniel answers. "We're co-CEOs. "Yeah," Nealman says. "We are." In a follow-up article, The Times published more from the interview, noting that Hannah did say, "Anything great requires sacrifice." Nealman said, "As we stood on the side of the mountain, surrounded by babies and chickens. You know that," she said gently. "You know what it took to get to where you're at." And that, I think, is the very simple and very complicated truth of it. So despite what the public might be thinking after reading all of this, or as upsetting as it might seem that she got an apron instead of tickets to Greece, or some of the other things that have been written, Hannah seems to want the point across to be that she's sacrificed and isn't upset. She hasn't directly addressed any of the conversations surrounding her since the story has gone viral, and she's only continued content as usual. But tons of viewers are now watching through a different lens, looking at Daniel much differently than they used to. So that's what's going on with the Ballerina Farm account, why this family has gone absolutely viral online, and why people are so upset. I certainly want to know what you guys think about all of this, from the article to the things people have been going back on her account to look at and see. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.